Okay, good morning. Welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Me and Iyun. Today I want to analyze Shabbos Perek Gimel Mishnah Zion, the last Mishnah in Perek Gimel. The Mishnah states at the end, if you have a svi, you have a deer, wild deer, ran into your house, and you don't want it to go outside and ruin your property. You have a nice pool, a nice backyard, so you sit down at the doorway or block the doorway. It's a small doorway. If the svi sees you, he can't get out. So you sit there. You trap the svi in your house. Trapping a svi in your house is a malacha on Shabbos. Now, second, your friend comes. He wants to shmooze with you. He sits down also in the middle of the doorway, right? It's a large width of the doorway. So you both sat down in the doorway. You're not doing anything because the first guy trapped him. But you're not adding anything. You're definitely not chayiv. And then the second gets up. The first guy gets up. So now, who's the one trapping? You're the one trapping it by staying there. So you're not chayiv, it's pater and mutter. The Gemara says Nav Gimel and Shabbos. And when you already said Nav Gimel and Shabbos, it's pater and mutter. Asad it's a you're pater and mutter. Why are you pater and mutter? The answer is because at the time he did the malacha of trapping, you didn't do anything because he was trapped through the first person. So you're not doing anything. In fact, he got up afterwards. I didn't do anything. I'm not moving, right? If I was out of the doorway and I move into the doorway, then I'm doing something. If you do a ma'aseh before Shabbos, or you do a ma'aseh that's not a malacha, and then it happens to be afterwards, it's a malacha, but you didn't. It always goes after the ma'aseh. If the ma'aseh wasn't a malacha, it can't afterwards without doing anything be a malacha. I turn my air conditioner before Shabbos and it runs on Shabbos. I'm not a chayav because I turn it on before Shabbos. Same thing over here. So you're not chayav. And the Gemara, the Mishnah compares it to halamaz doma lenoas beisal shamro and misashri shamro besocho. It's comparable. The reason it's pater is you lock your door and you didn't know there was. Simple explanation. You didn't know there was a deer inside. You had no clue that the deer was inside. Turns out there was a deer inside. So you're a potter. Now the reason you're a potter over there is called mizasek. Mizasek means I didn't think that there's a possibility of a server here. I didn't think. I was going to a room. I turned on the light. Right? I'm mizasek. I didn't do anything wrong on Shabbos. I knew it's Shabbos. I knew turning on a light potentially asr. I knew it was asr. Turning on a light. So I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't thinking, so it's not my fault. I mean, it's fantastic, right? You're involved in something else. Your mind is you're busy with something else. You're busy with seat arrangements. You're having a lot of guests for lunch. You want to make sure everyone sits in the right seat. You're even thinking about putting place cards. So, what? How could you compare the two cases? How are they comparable? They're not comparable at all. The case that you're comparing it to is misasek. The reason the first case you're part of, he didn't do a ma'aseh of seda. Right? Only afterwards, the first guy got up, then you're trapping him, but you trap him by doing nothing. You didn't do a ma'aseh of isser. How are they comparable? So I believe the simple answer is just rereading this last line. Means it's talking about you had a cage first. You knew the city was in your house. The deer was in your house. It was in a cage. You have a cage for your deer, so some people have parrots, they have fish as pets you can watch in your house. Some people have wild deer in their house, maybe a very big house. So we had a wild deer that was already shomer b'socho. It couldn't get out of the cage, and then you locked the door. You didn't do anything, right? Because it was already locked. That's the same thing. If someone was blocking the door, the svi couldn't get out, the deer couldn't get out, and you sat next to him, also blocking the door, but you didn't accomplish anything. He was already trapped with the first guy. It's exactly the same thing. It's not talking about mizasek. Right? I don't know why everyone seems to assume it is. I think most Mepharshim assume it is talking about Asik, but they're not comparable the cases. The answer is they're just talking about, just reread the words of the Mishnah. Svi Shomer B'Socho, right? It was already trapped. It was in a cage. So locking the door is not doing anything because it's already in the cage. Even if someone would open the cage afterwards, and then it would be trapped in your house through locking the door, but at the time you locked the door, it was already trapped in the cage. You're not accomplishing anything. That's why the two cases are comparable. It makes perfect sense. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.